Hey YouTube, I wanted to go over some fire starters today. This is just some of what we own. There's a few that I can't find. I don't know what kits they're in. I didn't feel like digging them out. One is the UST Sparky. It's the little handheld or one hand operated fire starter. You just squeeze it and press down. It shoots sparks down. It's a cool little fire starter. It's not represented here today, but I can tell you I really like that fire starter. And it's priced right around $5, so it's nice and cheap. I want to start on these with the one I hate the most, and that's this one. This is the Harbor Freight style magnesium bar with flint, and these things really are just real bad. The magnesium's way too hard. You can see how much magnesium we've scraped off this bar. It doesn't light very well either. This is actually not the one from Harbor Freight. The one from Harbor Freight's right around, I think, like $3, $4, something like that. This one's like $5 at Walmart, and it's either Coleman or Coghlans. I can't quite remember, but I want to say it's Coleman. Little fire starter, and this thing just sucks. I can tell you that right off the bat. I just wanted to throw it out there. I've never seen one of these I liked. However, there's a good video out there that Dino did. That's DEAN space O. Go check out his videos. I want to say it's called the God Spark, but I think the God Spark's the actual rod. But he does a video on one of these that actually worked really well. The shavings look like it came off nice and easy, so I think the magnesium's a lot softer on that one. So you might want to go check that video out if you're looking for this kind of fire starter. I would go with that kind and steer clear of the Harbor Freight, Coleman, Coghlans, anything like that. Just too hard to use. The magnesium doesn't like to light. The flint's really small. You can see it's already half gone. So I just keep this as backup. I never ever use it. So let's see. These right here are I believe it's the Elk Ridge. Ridge Runner makes them too, just like this, same exact handles, except they're a little bit shorter, I believe. These come in a 3-pack you can buy off Amazon. I think they're like $6 or $7 for a 3-pack, so they're not that bad. These are the strikers come with them. I hate the strikers on these things. This is the striker from the Schrade, and that's actually what this came out of. These strikers work very well. Just don't give you a lot of real estate to hold on to. But Schrade got it right with their striker. They should have just made it a little bit longer so you can hold it sideways. That way you don't have to strike it. You know, I assume you're supposed to hold it like this and strike down, and it's just a lot easier to do it on the side. So strikers aren't really that important. This is my favorite striker right here, and I don't open it when I strike with it. But this is just a little case Sodbuster Jr. You put your finger on it right there, get some downward pressure, and strike out. This thing works very well. So this is usually what I use as a striker. I have 2 of these in different kits, fire kits. Alright, so we did the Elk Ridge. Put that over there. Next one is this little Bear Grylls fire starter. This is actually the one that comes with the Bear Grylls survival kit. It's fairly soft. Actually, it's probably a little bit harder than the full-size Bear Grylls fire starter, but it is still pretty soft compared to, say, the Elk Ridge, which is really hard. So if you like soft fire starters, of course they're not going to last as long, but you get a fire going with them a lot easier. If you're trying to heat up natural tinder or dry out tinder or whatever, you really want a lot of real estate on your rod, and that didn't sound right, but you just want more real estate. You want it to be a little bit longer, and you want it to be a little bit softer so you get more shavings off. In fact, this one we'll go over next. This is the Coghlans fire starter. I'm not sure how long it is, but there's that much rod, almost up to the top of these this cordage here. Inside this handle. It actually had a handle on it, just like the Bear Grylls one, except it says Coghlans on it. It came off, so I just drilled a little piece of fat wood and glued it inside of it, and so I can just wrap this around it for something to hold on to, so I could always saw off this much of the fat wood and use to burn, and then I still have this as a handle. So that's kind of why I went with this one. And this one is probably the softest one up here, is the Coghlans, and it works great. I love this fire starter. It was one of my favorite ones until I got this new one, but really easy to get a fire going with this one. In fact, if you hit it hard enough, it almost coils up into a burning ember. Like you can almost see the shavings come off of it, you know what I mean? You just have to hit it in the right, get it on that right angle with the right amount of pressure. And this one works really well. That was my favorite one. This is the Grylls full size. This is supposed to be a self-contained kit. You got the striker, you have the rod, and then in here you have a little cavity so you could put some tinder in there. I usually just put cotton in there or fat wood shavings. The striker that comes on this thing completely sucks. I never use it. I've tried to fix it down one side and I just didn't get it right. I need to work on it a little bit and grind it down a little bit and sand it and get it to where it'll work good. But the steel they use, I think, is the problem, more or less. It's not too bad, it just doesn't work great. We're going to test all these out in a minute. Let's go with the mini one. This is probably my favorite fire starter right now. Just on how small it is, how cheap it is, and this is good for 100 strikes. UST guarantees it for 100 strikes, so it's not big, it's not super soft, but these strikers, UST makes some of the best strikers on the market, by far. Some of the best ones I've ever used. Now, I have heard stories of these strikers coming out and these rods coming out. A lot of people, as soon as they get them, they pull them and re-glue them. I've been using this one for a while, and I have one in my main camp pack, and I have one in my EDC pack, so I have 3 of these all together, and I just love them. And this is the Spark Force. It doesn't actually say it on there. I have to look at this one, see, because one's called the Strike Force, one's called the Spark Force. So actually, besides the Coghlans, this is my favorite one to use. This is my favorite one for kits. It's super light. It would be cool if you could fit a Tinder Quick in there somewhere. But if you're looking again for a full, self-contained unit, something that has everything for the fire right there, this is the UST Strike Force. It's probably the same material as this one on the rod itself. You can see it's 1/2 inch. It's not very long, but it works good to get a fire going. And you can see it's just by the strike marks on it, you can see how hard it is. It's a hard little ferro rod. It's not super soft. This is probably one of the harder ones besides the Elk Ridge. This is probably the hardest one I had on the table. This one's probably second. But it is a cool little unit. Again, a lot of people pull these out and go ahead and re-glue them. I've heard of them coming off. I like this striker as much as I like the striker on the mini version here. And this is the last one. This is the one we just most recently picked up. It's been my favorite this week anyway. It's the one I've been using all week. Or I've been playing with it for the last few days anyway. This is the Real Free, RELEFREE, 1/2 inch by 5 inch ferro rod. You can pick these up on Amazon and they're only like $8, real cheap. It is hard, it's not super soft, but it's long. You got a lot of real estate between here and here, so it's really easy to get a fire going with this thing, regardless if it's natural tinder or not, which I've never done natural tinder yet, so I guess I shouldn't say that, but I can look at the sparks and tell you that it's a pretty good little fire starter for the price, and that's, at least 1,000 sparks right there, at least. It's as big as the UST, and it's probably 3 times longer. There's the ferro rod goes all the way to right there. So it's nice and long. You have a lot of real estate to start a fire with this thing. I think I'm going to make a fat wood handle for this as well. I really like these. Let's go ahead and just start checking them out. For the striker, like I said, I love the UST striker, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the Spark Force striker here. I hate trying to do it in this thing. So you see the UST works really well. The little one, let's go for the Bear Grylls this time. And like I said, this is the one that actually comes in the kit. I don't know if you can buy these separate, but it does work. I'm doing my damn show. Alright. So, let's try the full-size Bear Grylls. We'll go ahead and use the striker that's with it. Not a great striker though, I can tell you that. I hate this damn striker. There we go. We're just going to use the UST. Makes it so much easier. Alright. Let's go for this one. This is going to be the Coghlans. Go ahead and use that same piece of cotton. And again, this is probably the softest one. You don't even have to do it that hard though. Which one's next? Let's try the... This is going to be the Ridge Runner. And again, cotton isn't really hard to ignite. Not really putting it up against the test right now, just showing you they all work decent. I'll go ahead and use the striker it comes with. And this is the Strike Force. You just barely have to hit that one. Go ahead and try the flint on this one, but I'm not going to take the time to go ahead and make shavings out of the magnesium. Again, it's a pain in the butt, so. There we go. So you can see the flint works on it. So overall, if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, I'd probably go with the Reel Free. You get a lot of real estate there and a lot of rod. If you're looking for the best, full unit, something that holds tinder and all, I'd probably go with the UST Strike Force. But if you're looking for something really ultra light, and again, this is probably my favorite one. Overall, I'm going to say this is my favorite one. It is the UST Spark Force. I really like it. I like it better than the Sparky because it's actually smaller. And it's the same size rod they use in the Sparky. So this is not a bad one. We're going to pick up some more though. I've been looking at some different ones. Like I said, that God Spark looked pretty cool that Dino had. And I think that's the actual Ferro rod that he showed. I'm not sure about that, or it might be the maker of it. I'd have to go back and actually look at the video. So when I go to purchase it, I'll probably go rewatch the video. And but we're going to be picking some new fire starters up, and I really wanted to get one of those magnesium bars that work. I've seen big round ones. The Fat Man has one that's really big and round. And then it has a large flint going across the top of it that can be replaced. So I was looking at that one. I think those are pretty cool. I wouldn't mind getting one of those. So we're going to be trying out some new ones though, and we'll definitely update you on these, and we'll go back over them all again one day in a new video when we pick up the new ones, and hopefully I can find the Sparky and throw it in there as well. That's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching, YouTube.